All right, so now that we can link back and forth between our homepage template and then our application's homepage template, I want to introduce you to a cool feature called extension, where we're going to extend one template onto another template. It's very similar to object-oriented development, where you have a parent and then a child. For example, a class can extend another class, so it inherits everything of the class above it. So the first thing I need to do is I need to go into templates, and I need to rename this home. So I'm going to say, I think I can use a move command, mv home.html, and I'm going to call it base.html. So there we go. If I open up Notepad, it's probably going to, yeah, so this file doesn't exist anymore. Keep in this editor, no. Alright, so now if we just try to refresh this, well, our application isn't running anyway, so let's go up and let's run our server. We should get a template not found error. Exactly, because the home.html doesn't exist anymore. We renamed it to base.html, so we need to update that. So in our root level configuration file, views.home, name is home, so that's fine. And our views.py for our, this is gonna say, you know, root level, or we'll just call it project level views. We need to say base.html. Change that, I save that, and let's refresh this. So this works, cache tracker works, home works. But really what I want to do is when I go to cache tracker, I want it to still have this nav bar up at the top, and then replace everything right here. So what the template extending really means is that you can reuse the same HTML code you've already had. So I've already wrote this whole HTML code, so I can reuse this, but I can change certain sections of it, such as this section. And what I'm going to do is, let's go to our base.html file, which isn't open here, so I need to go into my templates file, and I need to notepad++ base.html. And this whole section, I'm going to call it, we're going to do this, another Django tag is going to say block content. And then at the end of this section, I'm going to, actually we'll do this, we'll move this block content inside of this section tag and then close it right before the end. So end block. Alright, all we're doing right here is we're telling Django that if I alter the content section, what I really mean is I want you to replace everything in here with whatever I tell you to put in here now. So this entire base.html file is kind of like the parent, and then what I'm going to extend is whatever is inside this block content. So again, I like to do things really slow and refresh every time I make a change, except my server's not running, so I always like to change a little bit and then test it to make sure it works. That way, if I do make an error, it's very obvious to me where I made the error at. So let's change this. So this still works, cache tracker works, everything's working. So now what I want to do is I want to go into my home.html file. This is for my cache tracker app, right? And I wanted to say this. I want to say extends base.html. So what it's going to do is going to grab the base.html template and we're going to extend it. So I inherit everything that's already written in there. So it's going to include everything that's already written in there. But this time I want to change what's inside the content block. Which if we go back to our, let's see, base.html, which is this. We don't want this famous cities. We don't want any of this. I just pretty much want to say, inside this, I want to say h1, welcome to cache tracker. And then we need to end the block using Django syntax again. So, Django template syntax. So what this should do is it should load the base.html file, it's going to grab the content block. It's going to replace whatever is in the base.html file with whatever I now tell it to include. So let's see if this worked. Let's refresh this. This works. Cache tracker works. Alright, so I have a template syntax error. Oh, yep, that's why. That's very simple. The extends, the name of the file needs to be a string. So extends base.html. Let's go back here. Let's refresh this. Home works. And now cache tracker. Notice how I still have my application bar. And I can jump back and forth between the home, which is really the raw base.html file, and then the cache tracker, which extends it and then replaces whatever's in that block content.